you miss goals like the Rams did in the Super Bowl? Today I'm going to talk about the process I've been using for the last 20 years.
Okay, I've been working like 3 jobs. Probably why I never see ya. Probably why I never have time for the fake friends that won't be ya. Been ballin', but it's looking like they took a time out. Okay, I'm working on a Wednesday, then up again the next day. So-and-so is popping, man, I skip him like he leg day.
So let's talk about goals, setting goals, achieving goals, why you should have goals, how big those goals should be. I didn't realize, sometimes when you're just a certain way, you think that other people are like that. And I've learned over the years that goal setting and how big those goals are for people is something that a lot of people struggle with or don't set them big enough because of whatever reason they have personally. If you chop that down, it's typically something where they were either, somebody told them when they were younger that they couldn't set big goals. They were told by family, friends, spouses, things like that. But I wanted to take a minute and just talk about the overall process of thinking about goals, how to achieve them, how to set yourself up for success, and something that I've been using for the last 20 years. So going back to the initial ambition and goals and setting them, you have to somewhat deprogram your brain to whatever you learned when you were younger, because there's influences that were put into your mind throughout your life that you can or cannot achieve something. If you had parents or friends that were constantly uplifting and telling you can achieve anything, then it's going to be much easier for you to set higher goals than most people. But if you had people in your life that were not necessarily promoting that type of positivity, then maybe you look at goals and saying, like, I just want to go to this point. I can't go any further than that. So in my life, my family was very positive, saying I could do anything and give a better life to my family than what was given to me, and that's something that my dad always said to me. But around high school, once I didn't graduate high school and I was 4 or 5 credits short roughly, then it was like, oh my God, he can't achieve anything. There's going to reach a point where he needs these degrees and he has to go back to school and all that. And I took it as kind of a chip on my shoulder to say, I can achieve anything I want to achieve and push forward through the noise around you that's talking, kind of talking down to you with that. So after high school, got my GED, then went into part-time college while I was working, didn't finish that. So now you've got this, 23-year-old that has no college degree, but has very ambitious goals. And what I essentially was looking at is that if I work hard enough, and that's kind of the differentiating factor, then I can go and achieve anything. So I applied for jobs that I was far less qualified for because I had a goal that I was not willing to compromise, that I wanted to get to this point financially and in my career, and I was going to give up on it. But if I didn't set that goal too far, and that I would never be able to have those opportunities to at least try, get rejected, pick yourself back up, and keep on trying. And that's what it comes down to, is that when you set a goal, if it's lofty enough and you're ambitious enough, you will take that rejection and the not being successful right away, you'll take it on the chin and move forward. If your goal is not far enough ahead of you and it's just a micro goal, then it's a lot easier to achieve. While some people may think that can boost you up and give you positivity to say, okay, you do micro goals first, and once you achieve those, you get the the momentum going and the muscle memory of saying, I got that, so I got the reward. Now I'm going to set another goal and push it forward. But if you just change your mindset and say, I want to shoot for the stars, it's okay if I land on the moon, but go out there and go even bigger, then it puts you in a different type of mindset. And there's tons of people out there that talk about goals that have breakdowns of processes, the way that they do it. But first, by deprogramming whatever you were taught, whatever mentality was beat into your head, and saying basically, screw that, I'm not going to listen to anything from the past. I'm not going to listen to anybody around me that is telling me I can't do it. Because usually when you break those people down, if you say I want to achieve this in my life, and there's a naysayer or somebody saying you can't do that, if you really break down their life and tear it apart, most likely they're not somebody that ever achieved their own goals, or they don't have their own goals. So don't, somewhat consider the source, but don't take other people's opinions when it comes to negatively impacting the vision and the drive and the things that you want to do in your life. Once you can do that, then you can start to look at having a formulated plan of setting your goals. Setting your goals down from a yearly basis, from a 6-month basis. I don't personally go 7, 10, 20 years out, because to me that is so far away, and so many things can happen between now and then, that my long-term goals for me is really like a 3-year. So if I look at what are your long-term goals, that's 3 years away. I'm not planning for 10 years, I'm planning for 3. My micro goals are 1 year away, 6 months away, 2 months away, and work backwards into that and set the micro goals that are going towards the bigger goals. So if you're saying that in your career you want to make a certain amount of money, then you have to understand what are the steps to get there. Set that goal that you want to do that in 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, whatever it is, but then work backwards and figure out what are the steps that I have to go to get to that. Formulate the plan, because without a plan, a goal is just a wish. It's just an idea that you have. It's kind of like an invention. You think of something, you're like, this would be a great invention. If you don't execute on that invention, then you're never going to get it. You're just going to be the one that's sitting in the back saying, I thought of Uber 12 years ago, or I had that idea for that, but you never actually executed. So when you're looking at your goals, think broad and big and positive, and that you can do anything, because you really can. I came from essentially nothing. I worked my face off and achieved something, but still where I'm at today is still a micro step in the overall goal of what I'm trying to do. Whether it's your career, family, personal life, anything like that, we're not talking about the secret stuff. We're not talking about, for those that you don't know, the movie The Secret, where you're just thinking and visualizing. That's an aspect of it, but you need to put in the action and take on the opportunities when they come in front of you, and not be shy to taking a risk and stepping out of your comfort zone. So set the goals, start with, let's say 3 years, work backwards from there, and make these goals lofty, and get out of your comfort zone when you're doing it, and break it into categories of career, let's say financial and family and personal life, things like that, whether it's fitness or health or whatever categories you want to put down. But don't just look at one aspect of it. You want to break it down into maybe 4, 5, 6 categories. Once you put those goals down, you have to write them down on paper. If you don't write your goals down on paper and they're just in your mind, or they're just in a place that you don't, frequently look at, then you're not going to constantly be reminded of what that goal is. So writing them down on paper when you're initially thinking of this plan, and this is not something that you have to wait until New Year's to do. You could do this today. Set down your goals, write them down, and really think about the steps that you have to take to get there. Then you can formulate the plan. If you look at your goals every day, there's some people that say they write their goals down in the morning, they write them down at night. I did that for numerous years. I had a notepad that I always carried around with me every day, twice a day. I'd write down my goals. Sometimes those goals would slightly change. I'm not talking goals for the day, I'm talking about bigger goals. So every day writing down those goals, and you're starting to remember it, and you're starting to visualize yourself in those goals, and take some time to meditate and think about what it would be like to have that goal, and what are the steps that you want to go into it to accomplish it. But getting into that muscle memory aspect of it, you're gonna start to eventually get to the point where you believe that goal wholeheartedly, and it doesn't matter what anybody around you, the noise in your little ecosystem of friends and family and close acquaintances tells you, you're still gonna push through it because you're so dead set on those goals. Now, achieving those goals is a whole different story, because if you don't take risk and opportunity to go after those goals, then you're never gonna get there. Things will come throughout your life that are gonna present opportunities for you. You can sit there and say, you can naysay yourself and say, I'm not qualified for that, or that's too much risk. And maybe sometimes it is, and maybe something completely ridiculous that you should not go after. But if it's going towards the goal, you have to sit and think about it and not beat yourself up and do that negative self-talk to where you say, I'm not worthy of that. I shouldn't think that big. I'm only this type of person. You have to strip that completely out of your mind and say, I do deserve that. I do deserve to accomplish more. I do deserve to have these things that I want to have, and not just materialistic things, but a lifestyle, family, kids, whatever it is, a career, respect. Regardless of what it is, you have to go into the mindset of saying that you deserve it, so then when an opportunity comes up, you can really sit and think, is this going towards my goal? If it's not going towards the goal that you've set forth in these 5 categories, then you should not do it. If it's not going to contribute to the bigger picture plan that you're trying to go after, then you should not do it. You have to take the opportunities that come up and really believe that you can achieve whatever that opportunity is, whether it's a potential job change, changing state, location, breaking off a relationship with somebody that is toxic, that is not serving your best interest, that is holding you down. Really look at those opportunities and jump on them, and then sit back and go into it wholeheartedly, and then look back to see, was that a good decision once you've gone down the path? It's not something easy where you can say just always take risks. I'm not saying with high risk comes, high reward. You're not going to get anything in life that's worth really having at the highest level without putting in the work or taking a risk. You take risks every day. You have to look at your goals and new opportunities and take risks to go towards those goals. If you don't believe the goals, you're never going to take the risk. So starting with that first step of wiping out your mindset that you were programmed from all the experience you've had in life, look at your inner circle of friends, families, acquaintances, anybody that's negative or a naysayer or somebody that's not positively influencing you, bringing you down in any sort of way, somebody that says you can't do this, you can't do that, removing them from your life or having minimum contact with them, surrounding yourself with a group of people, whether it is family or work people or friends, that is uplifting and telling you that yes, you can do whatever you want, having them help you with your goals, having them be a positive influence, and then you could do the same thing to them. Once you get past that, setting the goals, and then opportunities come up, work towards it. There are 24 hours in a day. The difference between people that are successful and people that aren't are not whether or not they're smarter, have a degree, were given certain opportunities, even took risks. It's just, what are you willing to do within those 24 hours that nobody else is willing to do? I don't sleep a lot. I sleep anywhere between 4 to 6 hours a day. That works for me. I know that a lot of people say you have to have this many hours, and maybe it'll come back to bite me in the ass when I'm 50, 60 years old and I'm more tired or have health conditions or something like that. But always, since I was 17, 18, I've always slept 4 to 6 hours a day because I'm trying to maximize what I could do within those 24 hours. Because the difference between those that make it and those that don't is in that window of 24 hours, how much stuff can you fit into it? And so if you're setting these lofty goals, but you're not actually doing anything in your life to change it, you're not going to get anywhere. You need to set the goals, but then take the action, change your lifestyle. If you want to own your own business, if you want to have a higher paying job, if you want to change and work for the biggest company in the world, then you have to break it down and look at what steps you have to take to get there. And then in those 24 hours, change your lifestyle, put together a plan, and take action. So if that story motivated you to set goals and achieve them, hit that like button. If you got a comment, leave it below, and we'll see you on the next one. So if you like that video about goals, hit that like, no, I sound like Becca.